Good morning, boys and girls. I got my buddy Alex here.
Hello.
He really likes this book we're going to read, so much he wanted to be here for it. It's called Ordinary Mary's Extraordinary Deed, and it is an extraordinary book. It's very special, and we found out about it from Alex's school.
Uh-huh.
Where do you go to school, Alex?
HES, Hendersonville Elementary.
School, yep. Hendersonville Elementary School. And what they did there is they had all the kids in the whole school in the gym, and they read the book and had people act it out, like did a play, a skit for it. And they thought it was that important that they wanted all the kids in the school to know about it. And it really is that important. It had a big impact on us. We bought the book. And I would love it if every single kid in the world and their families read this book, had this book, had heard of this book, because it's got so much value. It's what happens is Mary does this little deed for someone, a special thing in which she gives something to one of her neighbors, and it is a little random act of kindness and causes her neighbor, she feels so good and happy that she wants to pass on that kindness, that goodness, and then it spreads from one person to another and goes throughout the entire world. And so this little girl here, with one random act of kindness, she was nice to somebody, helped change the world. So let's find out about Ordinary Mary's Extraordinary Deed by Emily Pearson. Ordinary Mary was so very ordinary that you'd never guess she could change the world. This ordinary kid, she did. She changed the world. One ordinary day, skipping on her way from her ordinary school to her ordinary house, she passed an ordinary vacant lot filled with ordinary bushes growing ordinary berries, ordinary blue and juicy, luscious, lovely berries. You can see those blueberries?
A lot of ordinary.
A lot of ordinary blueberries. Well, Ordinary Mary picked the ordinary berries and brought them in a big brown bowl to Mrs. Bishop's porch. What? Left berries in a big brown bowl on Mrs. Bishop's porch? That sneaky kid. She did. And this made Mrs. Bishop very, very happy. So she baked a big batch of blueberry muffins and thought of 5 people who might have brought those beautiful berries, and then she secretly gave each a plate of those muffins. How great. 5 people got a plate. Can you hold up 5 fingers?
5.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. See, she spread that kindness, that goodness around to other people. She wasn't sure who gave it to her, so she gave it to 5 people she thought it could be. And let's see what that kind of act of kindness did for these other 5 people. One of those 5 was her paper boy, Billy Parker. And when Billy saw his name on a note in the driveway on a plate, he quickly parked his bike and ate every crumb of those blueberry muffins. Oh, yum, yum, yum. He ate every crumb. This made him so glad that the next 5 people got their papers on the porch and not in the bushes where he often threw them. In fact, they were handed right to them. One of those 5 was Mr. Morey, who was so amazed that he smiled for 10 hours on the airplane, then said to 5 different people who had heavy bags, "Here, let me help you." He still smiled, and they did too. Isn't that great? After the boy with the papers handed him his paper and delivered it right to him, he got so happy that he spread that happiness, that love to other people. Spread that kindness and goodness. One of those 5 was Mario, whose cranky little boy James stopped crying when Mr. Mori played peekaboo with him until their ride came. When he waved goodbye, Mario exclaimed, "How strange that a stranger would be so kind." And the next day, when he was out shopping once, twice, 5 times, he did something nice for 5 different people, 5 times without stopping. And one of those 5 was Joseph. Old and bent and gray, in front of him in line at the produce stand, when he said, "I guess I counted wrong. I don't really need these oranges," little James reached out to him with an orange from their basket, and Mario, James's dad, put a coin in Joseph's hand and said, "Here, take this. The oranges are on us." As Joseph shuffled to the bus, his heart was full and his eyes were wet, and his hands did helpful things for the next 5 people he met. His eyes were wet because he had tears in his eyes of happiness. He was just so happy and full of love because these strangers bought him oranges because he didn't have money to buy them himself. What a nice thing to do. One of those 5 that Joseph helped was Sahar, a college girl who was off to see the world and stopped at Joseph's shop. When her bag broke and her things fell all over the floor, she said, "Oh, what will I do?" Joseph said, "Here, this is for you." And he gave her a new bag woven with his own hands in red and purple and green. "Oh, thank you," she said. "It's the loveliest bag I've ever seen." When Sahar left, she felt sunny as noon, and she just had to shine on 5 people soon. One of those 5 was Sophia, whom she met on a boat, looking like the world might end, looking like someone without a friend. "What beautiful blue eyes you have," Sahar said, "and they're just the color of the flowers in your lovely dress." "Yes?" said Sophia. "Oh, yes," said Sahar. The beautiful blue eyes shed a happy tear, and when the boat trip was through, Sophia called 5 people to make them happy too. One of those 5 was Tom, her son, the doctor, who was having a very hard day. "Hi," she said. "I love you, Tom." "Well, how great to hear your voice," he sighed. "I always need my mom." Dr. Tom was so cheered up that on his next break, he bought a big bunch of bright balloons for 5 young patients, and he handed them out right then and there. One of those 5 was Peter, a little boy who went home from the hospital that very day. Gratitude, being happy and thankful, gratitude for the big bunch of bright balloons filled him and thrilled him and spilled out of him and on to the next 5 people who came his way. One of those 5 was Eric, a teenage boy whose sacks and such were way too much. When one dropped on the sidewalk, Peter stopped his play and rushed right over, saying, "Super Wheels to the rescue." Well, Eric, no longer stressed, was very impressed and made a mental note that very afternoon to help 5 people and do it soon. See, even this boy in a wheelchair was able to help him. He helped him out, and that made a big impact on Eric. And let's see what Eric does. One of those 5 was Dee, his 10-year-old sister, who didn't have many friends and was painfully shy. When Eric said, "Hey sis, want to come to the park and learn how to ride my skateboard?" she looked at him wide-eyed. "Serious?" she cried. "Sure," he said, and because of her brother, Dee decided maybe she could be a friend to another 5 others. He was being really nice to her, and she was really happy about it. One of those 5 was Louise, a homeless woman who lived under the trees. She could hardly believe her ears when she heard Dee say, "May my brother and I buy you a hot dog and a drink at that stand over there?" Could it be true? Someone actually cared enough to give her food and a smiley-faced ring that was practically new. Louise was so pleased that she decided that even though she had nothing, she would find 5 others and give them something. One of those 5 was Amara, who lost her wallet in the park. Louise found it full of 5s and 10s and $20 bills. Oh, what she could do with all that money, but she found Amara's name and called her home, and over she came. Amara was so impressed that Louise was honest when money was something she clearly needed, that she offered her a job in her store and vowed to do something generous for 5 people or more. So she found her wallet, and instead of keeping it, she turned it in and gave it to her. It had her name and number, and so she called her. And she could have kept the money, but she didn't. And as a result, this woman owns a store, and she gave Louise, who's homeless and doesn't have a job or a home, she gave her a job in her store. That's fantastic. Spreading the goodness, spreading the kindness. One of those 5 was Kate, a woman on vacation who wanted to see a show she'd heard was a sensation. Oh no, she said, it's sold out, but I'm going home tomorrow, and her face filled with sorrow. Amara held out her ticket. I live here, she said. I can go any time. Take mine. Amara had a ticket to go see this show that was sold out, so she just gave her ticket away to like a play. Kate loved the show and was so touched that she thought buying 5 presents for 5 people back home would really be fun. And one of those 5 presents was a little heart necklace for Mary, her niece. And you should have seen her eyes light up in surprise. And see, she lives in a different town. These other people that we've heard, if you go back, there was a guy, Mr. Morey, rode an airplane. And when he got to this other city, he helped these other people and spread this goodness to these other people in this other city. And one of them was Mary's aunt, who was in this other city, and traveled to see Mary. And it came back to Mary because she was so happy from this kind gesture of getting to see this theater show, this play from Amari, that she bought a necklace to give to her niece, Mary. So like it was saying, and one of those 5 presents was a little heart necklace for Mary, her niece, and you should have seen her eyes light up in surprise. Isn't that amazing? It not only spread around to all these people, but it even came back to Mary. Mary? What? Ordinary Mary? Yes, ordinary Mary's extraordinary deed had come full circle. Look. All the way back to her. You see, when Mrs. Bishop made muffins from Mary's blueberries, not only the paper boy, Billy Parker, but the other 4 people too made 5 people smile. And those 5 did too. And after a while, in only 16 days, love was sent to every person, everywhere. Just see how it went. See, not only did she give to 5 people, this being one of them, he gave to 5 people, this guy gave to 5 people, and every single person that each person gave 5
So
to
basically,
people, it multiplied to 5 more and 5 more.
like, so 1 times 5 is 5, and then 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 125.
That's
and
right.
125
Times
times
5 is
625.
That's right.
And on and on and on.
Exactly.
On this
So
page.
let's see what happens. You got it right, Alex. Because see, like he was saying, 1 to 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Times 5 is 125. Times 5 is 625. And so on, all the way down here to 30. What is that? 30 billion. Is that what it is?
Wait.
Yeah, 30 billion. See, when you come to 6 billion here, then when each of those people do it for 5 more, it turns into 30 billion. There's more than 6 billion people on Earth. There's 7 billion, but it even spreads to have more love than every single person on the world if everybody did it for 5 more people. Well, 30 billion is way more than all of the people on the planet. So after everyone had a share and everybody knew that somebody cared, there was even love left over. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. There was love spread around to every single person in the world.
And more.
And more, and some extra. The world was changed, and thousands and millions and billions agreed it was all because one ordinary day, Ordinary Mary did a perfectly ordinary, stunningly, earth-shaking, totally extraordinary deed. See, you never know what happens when you do something nice for other people. You don't really know what kind of effect that's going to have on other people and what they might do for more people around them and what those people might do for more people around them. So even just a smile, like smiling, what that can do for people, if you go around and you smile to people around, it can have an effect on those people, like at a grocery store, and they might smile for other people. And smiling is one way of spreading happiness and joy and love. And there's so many different ways to do it, as we saw in this book. And if we all do a little bit of that, we can spread this love, this kindness around the world, and it can fill the world up with love. Isn't that amazing thought? I'm flabbergasted by it. It's shocking. Flabbergasted means like in amazement and shocked kind of at the same time. It's an incredible thing that we all have the power to help change the world through kindness. And we are all interconnected. We are connected to so many people just in this town, and then from this town through this country, and then from this country through the continent and all the continents, all the world. We all are connected, and we can make a difference in this world. You can make a difference in this world. So when you go off into kindergarten, just remember that. Be kind and nice to people around you, and spread the love and goodness, and watch it grow and spread to other people too. Well, I hope you enjoyed this book. It's one of my favorites, and Alex too, and we enjoyed reading it to you. I hope you have a great day. Bye.
Give the world a reason to dance.
There you go. Give the world a reason to dance. I love that. Bye.
Bye.